When your own mother calls you a shame, the pain doesn't fade. It carves you into someone stronger. She said I'd never make it, that I'd always live under my sister's perfect shadow. But the day my face appeared on the Forbes cover, she couldn't even lift her eyes to meet mine. I didn't need revenge. Success had already spoken for me. My name is Ava Morgan, I'm 28 years old, and I grew up in a house where perfection was more important than peace. My mom, Linda, loved control. She wanted the kind of family people envied, polished, proper, and picture perfect. And my older sister, Claire, fit that mold perfectly. Valedictorian, Harvard graduate, the daughter who never made mistakes. Then there was me, the creative one, the dreamer. Or as my mom used to say, the one who doesn't know what she's doing with her life. I loved skincare and natural ingredients. I spent hours mixing essential oils and reading about herbal remedies. But in my mom's eyes, that wasn't ambition. It was a waste of time. The last straw came during Claire's engagement party. The house was glowing with fairy lights, filled with expensive perfume and laughter that didn't sound real. My mom was buzzing around the room, clutching her champagne glass like a trophy. She wore her favorite pearls, the ones she said symbolized family legacy. When I walked downstairs in a soft blue dress, her smile vanished. "Could you at least try to look like you belong here?" she snapped. "Mom, it's just a party," I murmured. She frowned, scanning me from head to toe. "That's exactly the problem. Everything's just something to you, Ava. You take nothing seriously." Before I could reply, Claire descended the stairs like royalty. A white dress, gold heels, glowing under the chandelier. Mom's whole face softened. "There she is," she whispered proudly. "My perfect girl." Guests swarmed Claire, asking about her fiancé, her new job, her future wedding. I stood near the punch table, invisible, until one of Mom's friends spotted me. "Oh, Linda, is this your other daughter? What's she doing these days?" My mom's smile stiffened. "She's figuring things out," she said quickly. "She's always been a little different." Different. That word burned more than any insult. When everyone laughed, I excused myself to the kitchen, but Mom followed, closing the door behind her. "You couldn't even bother to fix your hair properly? Do you have any idea how this looks?" "Like I exist?" I shot back. Her voice dropped, venom soft but sharp. "You're an embarrassment, Ava. A shame to this family. While your sister's building a future, you're playing with lotions and oils like a child." The glass I was holding nearly slipped from my hand. "You don't even know what I'm building." "Building?" she scoffed. "Sweetheart, mixing ingredients in your bedroom doesn't make you a businesswoman. It makes you a joke." I stood frozen. Then Claire walked in, sensing the tension. "Mom," she said gently, "maybe don't be so harsh." "Oh, don't start defending her," Mom cut her off. "You've worked hard for everything you have. She needs to see what real success looks like." That night, I packed a small suitcase and left. No yelling, no goodbye, just quiet tears and the sound of my own heartbeat as I walked down the driveway. I moved into a tiny studio apartment, peeling paint, one squeaky fan, no air conditioning. It wasn't much, but it was mine. For the first time, no one was telling me who to be. Days turned into weeks. I took part-time jobs, a receptionist at a spa, a night shift at a cafe. Every spare dollar went into buying ingredients: shea butter, jojoba oil, aloe vera. I experimented until dawn, labeling each jar with handwritten names. The first product I made was a lavender face cream. It wasn't perfect, too thick, smelled too strong, but when my coworker tried it, she came back 2 days later glowing. "What is this?" she asked. "Something I'm working on," I replied, smiling for the first time in weeks. Soon her friends wanted some, then their friends. I created an Instagram page called Luma Skin, named after the Latin word for light. I started with 5 followers, then 10, then 50. Every comment, every small order felt like proof that maybe I wasn't useless after all. Months passed, and I worked harder than I ever had. I watched YouTube tutorials on branding, stayed up until 3 a.m. designing labels, answered every message personally. But my mother? Silence. Not one call, not even a text. The only time I heard about my family was through Claire's Instagram, her wedding, her promotions, her perfect life. One night, I received a DM from an unknown account. It was Claire. "Saw your skincare page. Looks nice. Mom said it's cute you're keeping busy." Keeping busy. The same phrase people use when they don't believe in you. I stared at that message for a long time, then closed my phone. I didn't reply, I just went back to work. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. A local beauty blogger ordered my moisturizer and posted about it. "Small brand, big results," she wrote. "I'm obsessed." By morning, I had 500 new followers. By evening, I was completely sold out. I sat there surrounded by empty jars and packaging boxes, crying, not from sadness, but from pure disbelief. For the first time in my life, something I created was being celebrated. And somewhere deep down, I made a silent promise. I'd build something so big my mother would have no choice but to see me. My small studio apartment started to look more like a laboratory than a home. Boxes stacked to the ceiling, scents of rosehip and vanilla filling the air. I barely slept, barely ate, but for the first time in years, I felt alive. Every sale was like a heartbeat, proof that I was building something real. A month later, I got an email that made me drop my coffee. It was from Luna & Co., a boutique in Los Angeles that specialized in handmade products. "Hi, Ava. We came across your Luma Skin line and love your concept. We'd like to stock a small batch in our store. Let us know if you're interested." Interested? I nearly screamed. I stayed up all night perfecting the packaging, sealing each jar by hand. When I finally shipped the boxes, I whispered, "Please let this be the start of something." 2 weeks later, the store tagged me in a post. "New arrival, Luma Skin. Eco-friendly, cruelty-free, and made with love." Orders tripled. My inbox exploded. Influencers started reaching out, asking for PR packages. One even posted a video saying, "This cream saved my skin." That was the moment everything shifted. But just as my career was climbing, my past came knocking. It was a Sunday afternoon when my phone rang. The name flashing on the screen froze me. Mom. I stared for a full minute before answering. "Hello?" "Don't sound so surprised," she said coolly. "You haven't called home in months." I took a breath. "You didn't seem interested in hearing from me." Silence. Then a fake laugh. "Anyway, Claire's hosting a charity gala next weekend. You should come. It would be good for people to see the whole family together." I almost laughed. Good for people to see the family together? She didn't miss me. She missed the image of perfection. "I'll think about it," I said flatly. Her voice sharpened. "Ava, don't embarrass us again. Wear something elegant, not one of your creative outfits." The call ended before I could respond. I stood there, phone in hand, anger simmering beneath my calm. But something inside me had changed. I wasn't the scared, uncertain girl she used to control. I went to that gala. The venue was dripping in crystal chandeliers and designer gowns. As I walked in, I caught a few familiar eyes, people who used to whisper about Linda's strange younger daughter. My mother spotted me first. "Ava, you made it!" Her smile didn't reach her eyes. She leaned in and whispered, "Try not to draw attention, okay?" I wanted to tell her that attention was the last thing I was afraid of. Claire appeared a moment later, glowing as always. "You look nice," she said, though her tone suggested surprise. "Still doing that skincare thing?" "Yes," I said, smiling. "Actually, it's going pretty well." "Oh, that's great," she replied politely, already scanning the room for someone more important. I excused myself and walked to the bar. Just then, a woman approached me. Tall, confident, dressed in black satin. "Are you Ava Morgan, from Luma Skin?" I blinked. Yes, that's me." Her face lit up. "I've been meaning to reach you. I'm Rachel Stone. I manage product features for Glow magazine. We'd love to do a piece on women-owned beauty startups. Would you be open to an interview?" For a second, I couldn't speak. Glow magazine, the same publication my mom worshipped, the one she used to quote whenever she bragged about Claire's achievements. "Yes," I said softly, smiling. "I'd be honored." 2 weeks later, the article dropped. From bedroom formulas to beauty breakthroughs, the rise of Luma Skin. It went viral. Orders poured in. Thousands overnight. I hired 2 assistants, rented a small workspace, and finally quit my cafe job. Every jar I shipped out carried a piece of my story. Proof that you don't need approval to be worthy. Then one morning, I got another message. This time from a brand strategist named Eric Daniels. He wanted to invest. "I've been following your growth," he said on a Zoom call. "Luma Skin has something special. Authenticity. With the right funding, we could scale globally." Global. The word didn't even feel real. We partnered. I spent months traveling, meeting suppliers, and building a real company. By the end of the year, Lumaskin had distribution in 6 countries. But while my world was expanding, my mother's was shrinking. I didn't know it yet, but things weren't perfect in the Morgan household. Claire's husband had left her for a coworker. Their perfect marriage, gone. Her company was downsizing, and she'd lost her job. When I heard, I wanted to reach out. But then I remembered the night my mom called me a shame. The way Claire just stood there, saying nothing. So I stayed silent too. Then came the moment that changed everything. I was in New York for a business event when my phone exploded with messages. OMG, Ava, congrats. You're on Forbes? I frowned, opened Instagram, and there it was. Forbes 30 Under 30, the visionaries redefining beauty. And on the cover, my face. I stared at it, stunned. Me. The useless one. The shame. When I opened my eyes that morning, sunlight poured through the tall glass windows of my new office, the kind of view I once only dreamed about. My skincare brand, Oralin, had just been featured in Forbes, and my face was on the cover under the title, The Girl Who Built a Global Empire from Her Bedroom. The article went viral overnight. My social media exploded with messages of congratulations from people I'd never met, investors, customers, even my old college professors. But one message made my heart stop. It was from Mom. Ava, we saw the magazine. I can't believe it. We're so proud of you. Can we talk? I stared at the screen for a long time, not knowing what to feel. Pride, anger, maybe both. For years, I'd waited to hear those words. We're proud of you. But now, after everything, they felt hollow. Still, a small part of me couldn't help but ache for that little girl who once tried so hard to earn her mother's love. A week later, my mom called again. This time, her tone wasn't as proud. It was pleading. Ava, please, it's your father's 60th birthday next weekend. Everyone will be there. It would mean so much if you came. We want to see you. I could almost hear the desperation beneath her calm voice. A few years ago, I would have dropped everything to go, but now, I wasn't sure. After a few sleepless nights, I made a decision. I would go, not for them, but for me. When I arrived at the old family house, my heart raced. The same door I once walked out of in tears now stood before me, still painted that dull beige color Mom loved. As I stepped in, the air smelled faintly of jasmine and old memories. My mother was in the kitchen, arranging flowers, while Dad and Claire talked to guests in the living room. When she saw me, Mom froze. Her eyes filled with something I hadn't seen before. Not anger, not disappointment, but guilt. Ava, she whispered, her voice trembling. You came. Yes, I said softly. You invited me. For a moment, no one spoke. The sound of chatter filled the room, but it all felt far away. Then Claire appeared, wearing her usual flawless smile. Ava, wow, look at you, Miss Forbes herself, she said, half teasing, half sincere. Mom's been bragging about you nonstop. I almost laughed. Bragging? The same woman who once told me I'd never make it? The same one who called me a shame to the family? I wanted to scream, but instead I smiled. I'm glad she's proud now, I said calmly. It took a while. Mom's eyes filled with tears. She reached out, but I took a small step back. Not out of anger, but self-respect. Ava, I know I wasn't kind to you, she began. I pushed you away when I should have supported you, but I didn't know how. I was scared you'd fail, and I didn't want to see you hurt. Her words hung in the air, trembling between us. For the first time, I saw her not as the cruel mother from my memories, but as a flawed, insecure woman. Someone who didn't understand love unless it looked like success. I took a deep breath. You didn't protect me from failure, Mom. You created it. And I had to rebuild myself from what you broke. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I know, and I'm sorry, truly sorry. For a long time, I stood there, silent. Then I smiled, not out of bitterness, but peace. It's okay, Mom. I forgave you a long time ago, but I had to learn to love myself first. Her lips trembled into a weak smile. You've become such a strong woman, Ava. I'm proud of you. So proud. This time the words felt real. Later that evening, as the party buzzed with laughter, my dad raised a toast. To Ava, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Our daughter who taught us that dreams aren't shameful. They're powerful. The room erupted in applause, but I didn't need their approval anymore. I already had everything I'd once begged them for. Respect, purpose, and peace. After the event, I stepped outside. The night was calm, the stars brighter than I remembered. My phone buzzed with a notification. Another message from Forbes asking for an interview about women who built their own legacy. I smiled, staring at my reflection in the car window. The girl who was once called a shame to the family now represented women who refused to give up on themselves. And as I drove away, I whispered, "Thank you for breaking me, Mom, because you also built me, just not in the way you planned." The mansion lights faded behind me, but my future shone brighter than ever.